If you heard your child's voice calling from the darkness days after their mysterious death, would you dare to answer? Tonight, uncover the haunting true story of a boy, a cursed pond, and a horror that refuses to stay buried. Rocky was 13 when this began. A boy just like any other, sharing laughter and lessons with 5 or 6 close friends, all walking daily from their homes to the old schoolhouse on the edge of the village. In the evenings, Rocky would meet his tutor alone, a serious man named Mr. Shishir, for private lessons. But one fateful afternoon, Rocky left for his tutor's house running late. Instead of the usual busy lane, he slipped down a shortcut, one that snaked past an abandoned pond, a place people avoided even during daylight. Years ago, fish had been raised there, but now only weeds and a few lazy fish floated beneath its slick surface. That was where Rocky heard it, a bubbling sound, deep and insistent, rising from the middle of the pond. At first, he thought it was a trapped pocket of gas or a big fish, but then, from beneath the dark water emerged a white, veiled head, floating up in absolute silence. Fear rooted Rocky to the spot. Was that a person's head swathed in cloth, or just a trick of the light? Before he could move closer to see, the head slipped soundlessly beneath the water again. Unsettled and shaken, Rocky skipped his tutoring and hurried home, telling no one. The next evening, after lessons, he was sent to the market to fetch vegetables. As darkness crept in and prayer bells rang out, Rocky made his way home, traveling a different path past the same old pond and beneath the shelter of an ancient tree. Suddenly, he heard something rustling above. When he looked up, his heart stopped. Perched on a high branch was the same white-veiled head, its eyes blinking, lips curling into a grin. It glared straight at Rocky, then said in a chillingly familiar voice, "Looking for me, are you? Here I am." That was it. Rocky ran, whispering prayers, not daring to look back. That night, he told his family everything, but no one believed him, except his uncle, who remembered half-whispered tales about the pond's dark past. His uncle tried to reassure him with rituals and folk remedies, believing in the boy's terror enough to act. For a time, things returned to normal. Rocky tried to forget what he'd seen. Then one night, terror returned in the form of a nightmare that tore through his sleep. In his dream, the ceiling fan spun slowly, its blades entwined in the long hair of a severed woman's head, blood dropping steadily onto Rocky's skin as wide, unblinking eyes stared into his own. He woke up screaming, and his parents found him soaked in cold sweat. They put him to bed in their room and tried to soothe his fear. But within days, Rocky vanished without a trace on his way home from tutoring. No one saw him again, until one dreadful morning his family was summoned to the ancient tree. There, on the high branches, Rocky's body, his head and torso separated, was displayed in a way no animal or person could have managed alone. The wounds bore no signs of cutting, only the appearance of having been torn apart. Savage scratches left by claws far larger and stronger than any human's. No one could explain what had happened. After Rocky's funeral, his father began hearing uncanny footsteps at night. Then a voice, Rocky's own, called out from the darkness, "Dad, I don't want to go to lessons anymore." Each time, the voice would disappear when he turned to look. Terrified, Rocky's father turned to a local witch doctor, who declared the problem too great for him, but referred the grieving parent to someone much more powerful, a secretive ritualist. This man arrived in silence, performed strange rites with mirrors, blades, and a bowl of water, then demanded a goat be sacrificed. Only with the goat's severed head would he be able to end the haunting. The ritual was performed, and miraculously the haunting stopped. Yet to this day, no one knows what truly killed Rocky. The occultist never gave explanations. Was it vengeance, a restless spirit? Something far older, darker, and hungry, lurking in the shadows? The story ends, but the questions remain. Some say children still hear laughter and bubbling from the pond, especially at dusk. Some mysteries don't want to be solved. So what do you believe happened to Rocky? Was it a nightmare that crossed into reality? Or something that still waits unseen in the places we fear most? Share your theories below, but the shadows don't end here. Our next journey begins now. What would you do if your new home became a prison? Trapped by unseen horrors no one else can see. When 3 friends moved into a bright, fresh house, they never imagined the darkness beneath their feet and the terror that would follow. This isn't a story you'll forget easily, because some nightmares don't end when the lights come on. Enter the chilling tale of Willow House. 3 close friends, Alex, Sam, and Robin, start their university journey by moving into a newly constructed student house. Fresh walls, tidy rooms, and a large courtyard with a peaceful pond behind seemed perfect for new beginnings. The house was designed for comfort and community, promising safety and friendship. At first, it was just that. Laughter bounced through the halls. Late-night talks, shared meals, and dreams of college success filled the air. But still, Alex preferred solitude, choosing the very last room down the corridor, wanting peace but finding something else entirely. One evening, after a long day, Alex took his usual ritual, bathing by the pond behind the house. Soon after, he drifted into a restless sleep and was pulled into a terrifying nightmare. Twisted, half-human, half-fish creatures rising from the water, their clawed hands reaching out, chanting in an unknown, guttural tongue. He awoke drenched in sweat, heart pounding. That was only the beginning. That night, an unsettling noise came from his room. Switching on the light, Alex froze in horror. There, hunched and naked on the bed beside him, was a ghostly old figure with translucent skin. In a flash, it disappeared through the window, disappearing into the night. Alex screamed, bringing Sam and Robin running. But when they looked, nothing remained, just their friend now trembling in fear. The others believed it was stress or an overactive imagination, but nobody could escape the creeping terror that followed. By day, Alex tried to live normally, but at dusk, when shadows grew long, the feeling of being watched overwhelmed him. While walking through nearby woods, he saw a pale, clawed hand creeping up a tree, too large, too unnatural to be human. Footsteps echoed behind him, but he never saw the owner. Fear took hold. Alex begged to sleep with Sam and Robin for 3 nights straight before mustering courage to return to his room. Then came the night the horror escalated. Around midnight, loud knocking pounded Alex's door. Through a crack, he glimpsed a monstrous figure, towering with 4 powerful arms blocking his only escape. Furniture flew, shattering in chaos. The room filled with a choking, rotten stench. Alex hid, heart hammering, but when the creature found him, everything went black. Days later, Alex was found barely alive by the pond, his body marked by deep bite wounds. His phone was smashed and his room utterly destroyed. The nightmare had left its scars and changed him forever. But Willow House's terror hadn't finished soon. Sam and Robin found themselves haunted. While washing fish in the kitchen one night, strange red eyes glowed beneath the pond's surface. Shadowy shapes lurked, watching. The 2 fled in panic to warn the others. The house's skeptic manager initially laughed it off as nerves, but reality soon proved far darker. That night, noises echoed through the ceiling and unearthly screams shattered the quiet. The students rushed outside, hearing horrific sounds no human could make. The landlord, desperate, invited a local priest, Father Grant, to confront the evil. Father Grant spent the night with Sam and Robin. At midnight, a 4-armed monster squeezed through the window, trailing red-eyed followers. The priest prayed fervently. The demon spat at him, a burning, painful assault, but eventually fled. The next dawn, Father Grant led a ritual by the pond, summoning strange, yellow, amphibian-like creatures that were swiftly attacked by mysterious white cats appearing from nowhere, guardians battling unseen demons. The house grew quiet again. Alex never returned, scarred too deeply, while Sam, Robin, and future residents finished their studies without further incident. But sometimes a ripple on the pond or a shadow in the trees reminds everyone that the nightmare isn't fully gone, only sleeping. Was Willow House cursed, haunted by ancient darkness? Or did something horrific find a home where no one dared to look? What would you do if the night refused to end? If this story chilled your bones, smash that like button and share your thoughts below. Have you ever faced a fear no one believed? Tell us your story. Subscribe to Down Under Mysteries and ring the bell to hear more real tales that will make you question what's waiting just beyond the light. Remember, sometimes the scariest place to be is at home. If you thought that was chilling, wait until you hear what comes next. You think your neighbors are just ordinary folks, don't you? But what if something terrifying was happening right next door, and no one noticed until it was far, far too late? Tonight on Down Under Mysteries, we reveal a case that will make you question what you see and what you hear after midnight. It started with the smallest oddities. A porch light left on all night, a garden hose that seemed to coil itself between dusk and dawn, a child's toy lying in the gutter, although no kids lived on the street. In this tight-knit community, curiosity quickly turned to unease. People whispered, but everyone kept to themselves, except for one quiet neighbor who often worked nights returning under cover of darkness, eyes darting to every window. One evening, a dog began barking. But this was no ordinary bark, desperate, hoarse, relentless. When someone finally investigated, they found the dog cowering under a bush staring at the house next door. No matter how they coaxed or dragged, the animal refused to cross the path leading to that property. That night, the neighborhood slept with every light burning. The real terror began when the sound started. First, there were scratching noises, soft at first, then frantically loud. Some said they heard a woman crying, pleading for help, while others insisted it was only the wind whistling through the eaves. Phones rang with calls that dropped to static. More than one family awoke to find all their front doors wide open, though every lock was still latched. The air itself became heavy and tense, as if the entire street waited for something to happen. A neighbor, out late with insomnia, saw pale faces peering from behind the curtains. Not once, but again the next night, each time vanishing before a second glance. Footsteps echoed across empty verandas, always stopping just beyond the reach of the nearest security light. The police came quietly, unmarked cars parked far from prying eyes, officers speaking in hushed tones. No one was officially missing, but everyone knew someone had disappeared. Not in a dramatic way, but as if erased, their mail piling up, paw prints tracked in sudden storms, vague text messages claiming all was fine. Those who pressed for answers found only dead phone numbers and disconnected social accounts. Meanwhile, someone or something kept moving inside the locked house. Drawers slammed, water ran. The aroma of burning toast drifted out as if breakfast was being made for a family that no longer existed. More and more, the whispers grew. Did you see them? Who was in the window at dawn? Curtains fluttered, but the wind was still. Then one last stormy night, every house on the street lost power except for that one. In the blue flicker of its windows, shapes moved, shadows larger than life, looming and twisting as if to form words in the air. When morning broke, investigators found nothing inside. No people, no pets, not even furniture. Just a cold, silent shell. Yet every night still at 3:17 a.m., a lone light flickers in the window. Some believe it's an echo, others say it's a warning. The only thing everyone agrees on is this: after nightfall, no one walks that side of the street. What really happened behind those drawn curtains? Was it a case of vanishing people? Or a haunting that the living will never truly understand? Share your theories in the comments. Would you dare investigate when the lights come on after midnight? And don't forget, subscribe and turn on notifications for Down Under Mysteries. Stay alert, stay curious. You never know what's happening next door until it's too late.